All right, so we're going to invite all of the young people up front. So all the children, as we typically do, we're going to sing this song. You are more than welcome to join us if you are just a young person at heart. But we want to have all the little kids come up to the front. Our youth, we'd like to have you come up. Parents, you're more than welcome to come with your children as we sing this song. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. All right. How's everybody doing? Good. So glad that we have so many here with us tonight and everything. It's been a while since we've had Bible time with kids because last time we had something else going on in our schedule. So now here we are back. All right. So do you want to start out with some songs, Casey, and then we'll do our lesson? And we also, if there is anybody that some of y'all were practicing, some of you young boys are practicing your oral Bible reading. I was looking for Logan. I don't see you. Practice yours. All right, you want to do a reading tonight? All right, so have yours ready. We're going to sing a couple of songs, and then Gabriel, did you want to lead a song tonight? Sure. All right, come on up. We'll start with you. We'll have a song, then Casey will do another song or two, and then we'll have our Bible reading, okay? And then we'll have our lesson for the evening, all right? Should have told you beforehand instead of putting you on the spot like that, so you're doing good. Which one is it? The battle belongs to the Lord. All right, so that's number 977. Y'all remember that song, The Battle Belongs to the Lord? All right, let's all sing it. You ready? Heavenly armor, we enter the land. The battle belongs to the Lord. No weapon that's fashioned against us will stand. The battle belongs to the Lord. And we sing glory, honor, power, and strength to the Lord. And we sing glory, Now, how many of you cannot read? How many of you cannot read? I know, okay, so you can't. Some of you can't. And yet, we're all just singing out. That means you know the words and everything. That was so exciting to see. All right, we're going to have a Bible reading, and then we'll have our lesson. All right, so you ready? Why don't you come right up here? Right up here, and I'll help you. All right, you know what you're going to read?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll be reading Ecclesiastes. Sorry, I say this wrong.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
Good job.
12 verse 13 through 14. So here I go. Let us hear the conclusions of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. For this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whatever good or evil.
Fantastic. Good job. So, how many of you should by this point be pretty familiar with the story of Jesus, right? All right, you're familiar with the story of Jesus? What happened to Jesus, Paisley? What's something bad that happened to Jesus? He had to die on the cross. That's exactly right. So today, we're going to learn about that, okay? So before Jesus died on the cross, according to the Bible, it says that Pilate led him back to where the soldiers were, and the soldiers were very mean to Jesus. What did they do to Jesus? You remember that part? They what? Before they crucified him, what did they do? They beat him up. That's right. They beat on him, yes. Stoned him? They didn't actually stone him, but I guess you could say in a way that they did, because the way that they whipped him, the little whip had these little pieces of stone in it. Yes. They put thorns on his head. That's exactly right. And that's pretty mean, isn't it? You wouldn't want somebody to put thorns on your head. And they're very good. You can see, what were they doing? They were making fun of him. And they said, prophesy to us, or you say you're a king and everything, and they mocked him. You started to say something, Asher? Okay. So yes, very, very mean to Jesus. And then, of course, as y'all said, they took Jesus out and they crucified him. And that's a horrible, horrible way to die. And unfortunately, while that was going on, some of the Jews there, they were happy. They were glad to get rid of this guy. They thought that they didn't. Come on up front. There's plenty of room. Y'all make room right up here. There you go. Come right on up. Hi, Zyler. Right over there. Can you make room, Corey? There we go. So while Jesus is on the cross, these people are making fun of him. They're happy now that they've gotten rid of this guy. And Jesus dies on the cross. And when Jesus dies on the cross, it makes God sad, of course. And the temple, inside the grand temple that they had, there was this big, giant curtain. And that curtain ripped in half at the same time that Jesus died. Well, then after Jesus died, there was a man his name is Joseph of Arimathea. And Joseph came to Pilate, who was the governor of Judea, and he asked Pilate for the body of Jesus. That Jesus is dead on the cross, and so he asked if he could take the body and take care of it. And so him and Nicodemus. Nicodemus is the man who came to Jesus at night one time and was asking him about who he was and all. And they took the body and they wrapped it up in linen and spices and everything, like what was the custom of the Jews. Yeah. They put spices on him so he couldn't smell bad. That's a little bit different than what we do in our culture, right? In our culture, they put them in a casket, right? Well, here they wrap the body and they put spices on it and they put him in a brand new, like a cave. It was a tomb that they put him in, and they sealed up that tomb. And in fact, those Jews, they said, "Hey, Pilate, we remember that they said that maybe that he's going to rise again, so maybe somebody's going to come steal his body. So can you put some guards out there and seal that tomb so that nobody can get in?" And that was a big old heavy rock. Have y'all ever lifted up a big old heavy rock? No, because it's too heavy to lift up, right? So if it's too heavy to lift, you can. Superman could do it. That's right. Superman could do it. Yes.
Me and my brother were working on this rock for days, and finally we flipped it over.
But it took you days to flip it over? So was it a rock that big? As big as a person? So you could imagine that would take years to flip it over, wouldn't it? So this big rock, okay? So on the first day of the week, there were some of the ladies that were followers of Jesus. They wanted to come and they wanted to put more spices and anoint the body and everything to prepare because they loved Jesus. And they said, "Who's going to roll away that big rock?" And so when they got there, they found the rock was open. The rock had been moved and that the tomb was open. And there was an angel there. It's an angel, that's right. And he says, "Who are you looking for? Or why are you looking for him? He's not here. He's risen." And so the ladies, they were scared at first, and he said, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, but go tell the disciples. Go tell the disciples that Jesus will meet them in Galilee." And so Jesus then, as they were getting to go to the disciples to tell them, Jesus appeared to some of those ladies, and they fell down before him, and he says, "Don't be afraid." And they saw him risen from the dead. Now, that doesn't happen to the average person or any person. Jesus is the only person to come back from the dead on his own. He conquered death. And so he comes back and he tells the ladies, "Y'all go ahead and tell the disciples that I will meet them in Galilee." So Mary Magdalene goes back and she finds Peter and she finds John. And she says, "Jesus is alive." Now that's incredible, right? We saw Jesus dead on the cross and they buried him, and now he's come alive. And so Peter was excited. Now, which one of y'all is a real fast runner? Which one's real fast? All of you? You're all fast? Well, so do you think you could outrun this one? Could you outrun her maybe? Or could you maybe so, right? Well, here you have John and Peter. Now, just looking at the picture, Peter's an old man. John looks like a young man. Which one do you think is going to win? John, you're right. John won. They run to the tomb and John outran Peter. It's interesting. You read that in the book of John, and John just had to put that in there, that he outran Peter. That's right. So, but Peter, when he gets there, he goes inside and he sees those linens that they wrapped up Jesus in, all folded up nice and neat. And so he goes back and he's telling the disciples how exciting they are. Well, Mary Magdalene comes back. There's how many? Two angels. Mary Magdalene comes back and these angels say, "Woman, why are you so sad?" And she says, "I don't know where they've taken away my Lord." She is sad, isn't she? Big tears. And she said, "I don't know where they've taken away my Lord." And as she was speaking, she hears Mary. And she turns around. Well, you know what? You recognize that was Jesus. You know who Mary thought that was?
The gardener.
She thought it was the gardener. What does a gardener do?
He was wearing white clothes.
But she didn't know that. She thought he was the gardener. And finally he said, "Mary," as if saying, "Mary, it's me, it's Jesus." And then she bowed down and she was happy to see Jesus. And he says, "Go back and tell the disciples. Go back and tell my disciples." So they go back. Well, the disciples are now back together. "You're not going to believe this, but Jesus." Who is it?
Those people.
They're scared? Well, no, they are scared. You're right. They are a little bit scared. I'm glad you can see exactly what's happening in the picture, because they're thinking, the tomb is empty. What happened to Jesus? We don't know where Jesus is.
I just don't know Jesus is at home.
They don't know that Jesus is at home or is coming home, right? That's exactly right. Well, then Jesus appears to them.
There's so many people.
So many people. And Jesus, I've often wondered about that. If you were in a room by yourself and you're scared because you don't know what happened to Jesus, the tomb is empty, would you be scared if all of a sudden Jesus said, "Peace be with you"? Wouldn't that kind of startle you?
Yeah.
What's that?
There's so many people. There's so many people.
You counted 11 of them?
There's 11 of them because one of them weren't here the first time.
That's exactly right. Does anybody know which one of that disciple is not there?
This is
Judas.
this is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. It's all the disciples, especially the 12 disciples. Well, the 12 disciples minus one, as somebody so well counted. So Jesus says to them, yes, I have come back. He's resurrected. He is now living, okay? Well, there's one person who was there. Let me rephrase that.
Those people are bad.
No, these are good people. These are good people. This guy right here, his name is Thomas. He's one of Jesus' followers. He wasn't there. Y'all counted 11 a minute ago? There's a little bit more of the story that maybe you didn't realize. So Judas died, so that makes it, there were 12, now there's 11. But do you remember that they named another one?
No.
Yeah, in Acts chapter 1, they picked another apostle. His name was Matthias. So there's 12 of them, but you counted 11, right? Why was there 11?
People are happy.
They are happy because Thomas wasn't there. So Thomas said,
And he is blessed.
yeah, and Thomas said, I don't believe that. Y'all are telling me Jesus came back? Y'all,
Green outfit.
in the great, he's telling that to them, that you don't believe that Jesus came. He didn't believe Jesus came back. What are these? That's a clicker to change the picture. But this guy, this is the clicker. This guy doesn't believe that Jesus came back. But did Jesus come back?
Why did he come back?
He came back, didn't he?
Why did he?
He what?
He's doing this.
That's right. Exactly. He's like, I don't believe Jesus came back. I don't believe it at all. But did Jesus come back? We just saw Jesus, right?
Let's help here.
Well, that's just a picture up there for this. But then Jesus comes back, and guess who's there?
Why is there red on here?
Why do you think there's red on there? Because what did Thomas say? Thomas said, unless you know what he said? You know what Thomas said?
He put his spice on his outfit. And he's
Okay.
sprouting on his outside sprout.
That's where he got stabbed by the spear. You remember that, what you were going to say? All right, now Thomas, going back here to Thomas, Thomas says, unless I see the holes in his hands and his feet and his side, I'm not going to believe. That's a pretty serious accusation, right? So, Jesus comes and he says to Thomas, he says, Thomas, touch my hands. See my feet. Put your hand in my side. I know. And look at him. He's like, oh, it really is Jesus. Jesus really is alive. Wouldn't you be surprised too?
It's too wet.
Me.
He does this in the picture.
I know. He can't believe it. So what does he say to him? Here's the important point. What does he say? He says, Thomas, be believing, not disbelieving. You need to believe in me.
My mommy was me.
Yeah, good. Now, so he says, Thomas, believe in me, be only believing. So then they sit down. Now what are they doing? What are they doing now?
They're eating dinner together.
They're eating dinner together. Exactly. So now Jesus has come back from the dead and they're eating dinner together. And then they go up on the mountain.
That's a mountain.
That's the mountain. And on that mountain, he says to them that he wants them to be witnesses to him in all of Jerusalem, in all of Judea, Samaria, and the end of the earth.
And he wants them to be nice to him now.
That is exactly right. He wants them to be nice, not only to him, but who else are they supposed to be nice to? Everyone. That's right. Be nice to your neighbor. Y'all know the story really well.
My mommy is nice to me.
Your mommy's nice to you? Let me have a high five for that one. That's awesome. Now, there's some of you that can read. Which one of the disciples... Yeah, your mama loves you. Which one of those disciples went in to see the tomb?
3 people.
Peter went in there. Exactly. Peter walked right into the tomb. There's 3 people. Who did Mary Magdalene think that Jesus was? You got one a minute ago, so now your turn. The gardener. I'm sorry, I'll get you next time, all right? She thought he was the gardener who saw that Jesus had risen from the grave. Do you know that one?
Jesus is my daddy.
Huh? How about Mary Magdalene, right? Was that what you were going to say? Exactly. Mary Magdalene saw him risen from the grave. So what conditions? Thomas said, I will not believe unless I see what?
Holes in his hand and the hole in his side.
Exactly. He wouldn't believe unless he could touch Jesus' wounds, the holes in his hands, his feet. And that crown of thorns that he had on? Yeah. Then Jesus told Thomas not to do what? All right, let's get somebody else. What is it?
Disobey him.
Not disobey?